Hi guys, welcome back to another day of vlogmas. I'm so excited for today's video. It's a little bit different for my channel. We are going to be reading some holiday themed books. I'm hoping that I can have a pretty good range of books to read and talk with you guys about. So this is going to be a little bit of like a book roundup, vlog, review, recommendations, that sort of thing. A little bit of everything in one. But I just wanted to read a couple of Christmassy holiday type of books with you guys and tell you what I think about them. So let's go ahead and we're actually gonna go to Target and shop for some books. Okay, I'm back from Target, and as you guys saw, I had it between two books. The two books I was looking at that I had it between were Love, Holly, and A December to Remember. So I ended up picking up A December to Remember by Jenny Bayliss. I don't know anything about this book, like other than what the back says. So I really just wanted to pick a book based on kind of what it looked like and what the synopsis said. I did look up just a generic review on Goodreads. I didn't read any of the reviews. I just looked up the stars for the rating because I didn't want to pick up a book that ended up having like 1 star on Goodreads, because usually when that happens, I also don't like the book. So I wanted to at least like have a book that I thought I would like, but without finding one like online as a suggestion. So this is the one that I went with. I'm excited to pick it up and try it out. So this says that it's about a father who passes away, and he had 3 daughters with different moms. So they're all half sisters and they're pretty estranged, but in the will that their dad left, they have to like jump through all these hoops to do what he wanted them to do and also to get whatever he left them. And the end of the synopsis says that through hilarious goose chases, small town mishaps, and one heartwarming winter solstice celebration, love is in the air if only the 3 sisters can let themselves grasp it. So this sounds pretty interesting. So far I've read 1 chapter and it did catch my attention. I was just so tired when I first started reading this, so I couldn't make it past a chapter. So I'm going to go ahead and continue reading this, but I have a feeling I'm going to end up picking this up on audiobook just because I've been so busy lately and I don't see that changing. So I want to make sure I can actually finish this book and give you guys like a well-rounded review. So I'm going to read a little bit of it now, but likely will be picking up a little bit of it on audiobook at least, or probably a lot of it, to be honest. It's just so much easier to listen to a book than it is to take the time to sit down and read it sometimes. Okay, I went ahead and read another chapter, so this one's just going to be a little bit of a slow burn while we listen to some other books on audio, but so far so good. The writing in this is very quirky and I really like that. The father that passed away owned a curiosity shop, and so it's very reminiscent of Once Upon a Broken Heart, if you guys read that series. So I'm really liking that sort of analogy between the 2 books. Obviously this is not by the same author, but I just like how the dads in both of the books owned curiosity shops. I think that that's really cute. That was a really interesting part of Once Upon a Broken Heart to me, so it's nice to see that kind of carried over. And I think this book's going to be like pretty whimsical and just kind of quirky, so I'm excited to continue reading this one. Okay, I thought it would be fun to do at least one of these books on audio, so I actually did just go ahead and find 1 book to listen to on audiobook. It was one of the only ones on Libby that is currently available and fits the theme of this video. So this is the book that I picked up on audio, and I'm going to just go ahead and listen to it. It says it's only a 5-hour audiobook, so that's like one of the fastest audiobooks I think I've ever borrowed to listen to. So I'm excited for that, but it is called Alaskan, I forgot what it said it was called, but I'll put the picture of the book here. I've never heard of it before, but like I said, it was only one of 2 that was available now, and I thought that maybe like a quick little read would actually be nice. So I'm going to just go ahead and start that 5-hour read, and I'll probably finish it like in the next day or 2. So I'll keep you guys posted on this one. To say that that book that I was listening to and I mentioned that I was excited to start on an audiobook was such a bust. I feel bad saying this, but I couldn't listen to it. Like, I listened to about 10 minutes of the audiobook, and it was awful. I don't know if the book is good. Maybe the book is good. The audio and the way that the reader was reading the book and the voices that she was using, like for the characters. Actually, I think it was a guy that was narrating it. I don't know. The way that the person was using their voice to narrate it was just like painful. I feel awful saying that. I just couldn't listen to it. Like it was bad. I put that one aside. I DNF'd it. I don't care to finish it, unfortunately, but I did pick up another one. I mentioned that book was the only one that was available on Libby. So I went over to the app called Hoopla, and I did end up borrowing the book called The Book Club Hotel, and it was so good. I read the whole thing. I already listened to the entire thing this week, so I meant to like come in and talk about segments while I was listening to it, but it was literally like I could not put it down. I could not hit pause. I was listening to it while I was making thumbnails. I was listening to it in the car. I was listening to it just while I showered. I would turn it on and like turn it up really high so I could still hear it. It was so good. And I was really sad when I looked and there was only like 45 minutes left in the audiobook as a whole. I was like, no, I don't want this to be over. So I would try to like savor it. And then when I got to the end, I just wanted more of the book. So that to me is how I know that it was a 5-star read. So that's the first one that I've actually completed. When I first started to think about this video idea, I thought I would just be reading 3 books that were basically like Hallmark novels, because I know like Hallmark movies are really popular like for Christmas time movies, and they always have this cheesy romance, and I don't know. I'm in the mood for it like this much of the whole year. So I wasn't so sure about that, but that book was so founded on just like friendship and found family from your friends, and then each person had their own storyline and they were all really interwoven together very well. And I really liked how the whole plot played out. I really liked how for like the first, I would say 1/3 of the book, there was this question of like, what is this? Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but there was this like underlying like, what is happening? What's about to happen? What's about to happen? And I didn't expect that from a lighthearted type of book. I've been reading a lot of fantasy books lately, so I figured I might have a little bit of a hard time getting into a more rom-com type book, but it was not what I expected at all. Honestly, romance was more of a subplot in that a little bit, so I really did like that. As I was editing this footage back, I realized that I really didn't give you guys a good synopsis of the book club hotel, and I want to just do that now because this was a 5-star read for me, and so I want to encourage you guys to read this one. So I want to tell you what it's about. I liked this so much on audiobook that I did decide to pick up the physical copy of the book just so that I could have it on my bookshelf. And that really says a lot because I really want 5-star books on my bookshelf. So that's what I wanted to do when I picked this one up. But this book is by Sarah Morgan, and she really just writes Christmas books from what I was able to find. So I am actually pretty intrigued to see like what other books she writes and pick up some of those, but I went to Books A Million and they didn't have any of her other books in stock, unfortunately, so I just picked up this one. But this is about the Maple Sugar Inn, which is in Vermont, and the lady that owns this lost her husband about 2 years ago. So she's been running it. Her name is Hattie, and she's been running this hotel. It's like the perfect Christmas, like Hallmark type hotel in this like beautiful little village where everyone knows everyone, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. And then on the flip side, there's this group of friends. There's 3 friends, and their names are Erica, Claudia, and Anna. And they all have their own little history. They met in college and they've been best friends ever since, but they all have their own story. So this book really does a good job of following along all of the individuals' storylines. So the 3 friends do a yearly book club where they all get together and they go on a trip to read a book together, and it's just their way to keep up after college now that their lives have gone all different directions. So they end up booking hotel rooms at the hotel of Hattie, the Maple Sugar Inn, and so there's a reason why they booked these rooms there, and when they get there, their lives all change really. So this book is honestly so wholesome. I love the found family trope that's in this because some of the characters obviously have different stories than the other ones. It's interesting to see how a friendship from 20 years ago can really just keep on changing and evolving and where it can end up in this book. So I just honestly enjoyed every single minute of listening to this book. This is going to be one that I will probably reread next winter. I will probably like physically read it now that I have the actual book. So this was just such a 5-star read for me. And if you guys are wanting a nice holiday book where honestly romance is kind of like a secondary or a subplot to the storyline. Like, it's there, but it's not like a romance book. It has a little bit of romance, but honestly, the friendship aspect of this book is primary. This is like what's up front and center. So I love that. But I did want to pick up a more romance type holiday book because I have been seeing them on Instagram, like people suggesting them. I ended up picking up the audiobook called How the Grump Saved Christmas, and I'm over halfway through with that one. So right now I'm about 60% through of the book, and I'm thinking right now it's going to be like a 3 or a 4-star read for me. It's not the greatest. I feel like some of the characters are not like fully developed. I'm kind of thinking like I wish that there was more backstory on them. Like some of these things just kind of happen very quickly. So that one's a little bit interesting to me. I was interested in the plot line as a whole. So it's about this guy who now works in a corporate job and he lives in a big city, but they're wanting to acquire some land that is from his quote unquote hometown, where he spent some of his childhood living there. And the person or the family that this company is trying to buy the land from is the farm of his ex-girlfriend. So this is just, you know, kind of taking place to where he's having to go back to his small town where he spent several years growing up in his childhood and try to convince his ex-girlfriend to sell this farmland that they have to the large company who wants to, you know, tear down the farm, tear down their Christmas village that they do, and use it for commercial purposes. The plot to me was like interesting. I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But now into the book, I'm kind of like, ooh, I don't know, this might be like a 3-star. I will say that there was like a little bit of a plot twist a little over halfway through the book, and now I'm a little bit more interested in it. So if you guys get to like 55% of the book, you'll kind of see like what I'm talking about. I don't want to do any spoilers though. So now I'm a little bit more intrigued. I'm like, depending on how the rest of the book plays out, I feel like it could be a 4-star, but right now it's like a 3 or a 4-star for me. Definitely not enjoying it as much as the Book Club Hotel. So far, this is definitely the winner of this reading vlog, but I am excited to continue a December to Remember, finish How the Grump Saved Christmas, and then hopefully wrap everything up and give you guys a pretty well-rounded kind of final thoughts. So I'm going to continue listening to How the Grump Saved Christmas. It's the end of the day, and I know that I look like a mess, so please ignore the state of how I look. But on the way home from work today, I actually did finish How the Grump Saved Christmas, and while predictable and very cheesy, it was very cute. So I think like overall I would give it like 3.5 or 4 stars. I definitely didn't like it as much as the Book Club Hotel, but I don't want to just like totally compare it to that because it is a different story. But I would say I give it like 3.5 or 4 stars. If I had to pick 3 or 4, I would give it 4 stars. Like, I liked it, but I'm kind of in between the 3 and the 4 mark. So I don't know if I'm going to change my rating once I finish a December to Remember, but right now it's like, I like it, and I thought the ending was very sweet, and I really liked the epilogue and the bonus epilogue. They actually had 2, which was really nice. I liked that a lot. But yeah, I mean, I liked it. I felt like it was, like I said, predictable. It does have some like adult scenes and topics in it, whereas the Book Club Hotel like doesn't really. So just if that's something that you want to know about before you pick up the book, just, you know, to know about that. But yeah, it does have some adult topics in it, but it's not like too intense in my opinion or anything, so I think it's fine. But I'm only 2 chapters into a December to Remember, and as much as I wish I had more time to like sit down and actually read this book, I have been really busy lately, and I honestly just have a lot of time in the car to listen to a book. So I think I'm going to actually download the audiobook for this. I'm gonna try and read some of it, but probably I'll mostly listen to this on audiobook too. I do have quite a long day of traveling in a couple days from today. I have to travel some for work, so I'll be in the car for probably about 5 hours, so I'm gonna have a good bit of time to listen to the book. I also always listen to audiobooks on 1.5 speed, so that might help as well. So I'm only 21 pages in, and I do really like the story so far, so I wish I had more time to like sit down and read it, but I do unfortunately have a deadline of getting this video filmed, so I want to read it, and I want to like kind of pick up the pace because I need to finish filming this video so that I can edit it and get it ready for Vlogmas and for going up. So just the time of year, like with me doing Vlogmas, it's kind of hard. Yeah. I am going to download this on audio. I'm actually about to edit some Vlogmas videos right now, so I might listen to it a little bit, so I'll definitely keep you guys posted. But so far we have a 5-star read, a DNF, and like a 3.5 stars. I'm really excited to continue reading this book, A December to Remember. I think it's going to be really good. So I'm honestly just very intrigued to keep reading it. So I will try to keep you guys more posted throughout the book as I'm reading, but I'm sorry if this video is not so like aesthetic because I don't have like very many clips of me actually reading. So let me know if you guys like this style of video. Definitely open to your suggestions and your opinions. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading, but I will let you guys know how I'm feeling about it. I've got to update you guys on this book because I feel like if I wait any longer, I'm going to be done with the book. So I'm currently on page 234 and we're getting there. So I'm now I'm a little bit over halfway through the book, and I'm glad that I'm only a little bit over halfway through the book because it's so good. You guys, I think similarly to the Book Club Hotel, this one has potential to be a 5-star read. So I'm anticipating this being a 4 or a 5-star read right now, but it is inching its way towards a 5-star read, and I'm actually so glad that I got this on audiobook because the narrator is just so entertaining and I love this book. I feel like it has just been like a roller coaster of like heartwarming emotions. It's made me laugh out loud. It's literally brought tears to my eyes just on some of the topics. In a book like this, like they're gonna bring up different topics, and this one in particular, like there's a lot of like topics that come up that could be triggering to someone, so definitely look up like trigger warnings if you're extremely sensitive to those topics coming up in a book. But they're not really like overly explored or super negative or really dark thoughts or anything like that, but they're mentioned, and it's just in a more positive, like encouraging way in the spot that I'm in right now. But there are like some things that are mentioned that might be a little bit difficult to read about, so just look that up if that's something that's like really triggering, but I don't think it would be. There also are some like adult topics in this, but nothing is like explored like too graphically. But I wanted to mention that in comparison to some of the other books since I mentioned that on the other ones. But yeah, so far I am loving this book. I really think it's going to end up being a 5-star read. So I'm glad that I own it in person, and I'm glad I've been listening to it on audiobook. So I think I'm going to read a little bit more of this tonight, but I think I will be done, like if not tomorrow, then definitely the next day. So I'm wrapping this up pretty quickly. I did listen to a pretty good chunk of it today because I was traveling for work. That's what I wanted to update you guys, and I think the next time I update you guys, I will be done with this book. I am currently in the car, obviously, but I just finished the last book for this video, and I am again once sad that it's over. So I think that's another sign that this was a 5-star read. So yes, A December to Remember book will have 5 stars from me. I really do recommend this one. So I think this has been a very successful video in my opinion. The Book Club Hotel was a 5-star read, as well as A December to Remember. If I had to pick between the two, I honestly think A December to Remember might have topped the Book Club Hotel like by a hair, but I honestly suggest both of them. A December to Remember has slightly more adult topics and a little bit more adult language in it, but I don't think it was anything like excessive in comparison to some other books that I have picked up, but I really liked that one. The Book Club Hotel was a little bit more PG rated, but really I don't think that there was like anything bad in either one of them. And then unfortunately that Alaskan, I keep forgetting the name of that one, Alaskan Journey, or the one that I couldn't even listen to, like that was a 0 stars for me just because I couldn't even finish it. And then the last book that I read was How the Grump Saved Christmas. That one I'm still kind of like I'm not really sure about it. Like it's definitely 3 or 4 stars. I'm not 100% sure which one. For now I have it as a 4-star read. Like it was nice, it was just super predictable, but I think for that type of a book that's kind of expected. So yeah, that one to me, like it was nice. If that sounds like something that you'd be into, or if you can find it somewhere like free to listen to or something, I would suggest it. But outside of that, I would just really suggest the other two. But yeah, those are all the books I'm gonna read for this reading video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and definitely check out the 2 that I mentioned to check out, and that I would recommend to you guys if you're looking for a holiday book. I really liked how A December to Remember wasn't necessarily a Christmas book. It was a winter book, but they mostly talked about like a winter solstice instead of actually Christmas. And I just love how interwoven the storyline was. I felt like it was very well thought out and executed. I really liked that. And I felt the same way about the Book Club Hotel, honestly. But as far as A December to Remember, I feel like if you like thrift shopping and looking for like antique-y, like unique things, that's the type of book that you will probably like. At least that's the interpretation that I have. Like I'm currently going to a couple of thrift stores while I finished up this book, so it's really nice on audiobook. I would highly suggest both of them on audio as well. They were just so entertaining to listen to. So I hope that you guys can read one of these and enjoy them. Let me know down below if you do read one and if you do enjoy it as much as I did. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did like it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Bye.